There you go. So I'm recording it, and so that everyone, you present and everyone who is not present would be receiving the recording, so that you can get back to it, because we're going to share a lot of things. So it may be, you know, it may be easier, or just sharing it with friends. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? So, so welcome to the Cosmic Compass, the first one ever. You will make history. Well, that's it, you're making it. And yes, never happened before and will happen forever, since, like, from now on. So the Cosmic Compass game, for some of you who have never played it, which Will and I know through Twitter. I think we met on Twitter back in the days, right? And so we go by way back. But somehow you have never played the game, which is interesting, because here we are with a group of people who, some of you have played the game, some of you have played it one-on-one with me, virtually, some of you have played it real time, some of you have purchased the game, some of you have become facilitator, coaching, using the game. So we have a wide variety of people, and yet no one has experienced it in a virtual format that way with a group, beside me with one time. So it's going to be fun for everyone. We're gonna just experience it as it goes, and then see how it takes us. So the game is, should I show you? The game is this little guy right here. And that's a board game, as you can see. So it's not a Monopoly, but it's a board game. There's definitely a board, right, that folds. And then we got different card game, 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to use these 3 card deck to spread them along these 8 different spaces on the game, in order to get the answer to a question that we feel we need to ask ourselves. So let me get back a little bit on how the game started. The game, and it's not going to be the history of the game. That's going to be, if you want to become a facilitator, you will get the program, and then there's all the videos that explain to you the history of the game and how it came to life. But in a short version, about 10 years ago, I felt frustrated with a series of phone calls with clients who seemed to not be able to find their ways to listen to their truth, trust themselves, empower their choices, and were defaulting to asking me for the guidance to just make the choice in their life, which at the time became very frustrating, because I was doing self-empowerment. And so by the nature of this, it became, I felt completely purposeless. And so 10 years ago, after a series of focused intention, let's put it that way, the game came completely channeled through me, and to help people help themselves. It was really the intention that was at heart. And it has evolved over the past 10 years to look at it the way it is right now. The game is what I call a soul translator. It is a tool. I call it a game, and I will explain to you why it is in a game format. It is a tool that creates, that facilitates self-awareness and self-revelation. Because in order for anyone to transform, we have to become aware of what needs to be changed, what needs to be evolving, what needs to be transformed. Without the awareness of what we are in the moment, there's no way for us to actually know and pinpoint what it is that is ready to evolve. The game is allowing you to translate what your soul knows about you, what your higher self, your higher version of you knows about yourself, and because it sees the greater picture from who we are, right? It sees us as like on top of the mountains. It's not, we are, with our conscious mind, on the bottom of the mountains. We don't see enough. We are really limited in our capacity to perceive our life. And so what we want to do is to give the power back to the soul that is on top of the mountains, who has access to 360 degrees to Okay, Sarah is easier. Hey, Chriselle and Sarah, would you mind just muting your
Oh my God, I thought I was muted.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's not like you're making a lot of noise, but it's just I just want to make sure that you're not going crazy on the back, and because I know you will go crazy. I know you. And so
I'm in the shower. Oh my God.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Sarah. And so the idea of giving the power back to our own higher self, so that she can, when I say she, it's it obviously, but it can guide us consciously with trusting that our truth is, she owns. She can actually guide us from there in, turn right, turn left. We're just going to be guided. And so the game, because this language of intuition, most of us had forgotten it for a while, and then in order to train it, well, it's like learning another language. Coming from France, it took me a little while to shift my gear and my brain into learning another language in order for me to find myself existing in a different environment. And this is what's happening with our intuition. It's just a language between us and ourselves. Bless you. And so, but because again, there's not a one way to learn intuition. Like it's going to be very different for everyone. We have now the game that actually translated in English, so that makes it a little easier. It's just an easy way to ask a question to our higher self and get the answer directly in English. So how you play the game? You play the game starting with asking a question to which you want to have an answer.
I'm drinking what you drank.
Oh, that's Valentina. Hi, Valentina. I don't know if she's...
Hello.
Hey, Valentina. Would you mind muting your microphone so that because I can hear you have people around. Oh, here's Beate. Hi, Beate.
This is Melissa.
We got Melissa. We got Beate. We got everyone. Well, everyone, welcome. We got Ewald, who is here. Awesome. Valentina is here. Awesome. Okay, and so yes, if you want to say something, just press the participant, raise your voice, and then on the little, oh, there you go. Here is Lisa. Yay! Hi, Lisa. And then and so that I can see, I can answer your question if you need to. When you need to text something, when you want to know something, use the chat box, and then we have two moderators who will help you answer the question as much as possible, unless it is a direct question related to your game, okay? So that I can keep moving in for everyone. And okay, so for those who just arrived, we just explain a little bit more about, what the game is all about. And this is recorded, so you can, when you get the recording, you can always get back to it. But the idea is the game is created, or was created, for anyone to be able to connect with their soul, find the guidance from within, without the need to be in a codependency with anyone. The last thing you want is to need someone to find your own answers, right? You don't need another coach. You don't need anyone outside of you. Only you know you. And so the only coach that you truly need is your higher self. The time you're reestablishing this connection between your lower self and your higher self, which obviously it takes time and practice. Well, now you have a game, so to speak, that is allowing you to create that connection and to fine-tune your intuitive skill, which is the language that you need to know to fine-tune in order to connect with yourself. Okay, so why do I call it a game? For one reason, and one reason only, is when the collective consciousness hears the concept of the game, it detaches from the importance So the conscious mind waves away, because again, we have all agreed on a collective consciousness that it is just not important. It's just again.
Aline, can you please mute everybody?
I don't know. You tell me. How do I do this?
You just go on the participant.
Oh, look at this. Bim. Okay. Is everyone muted? Yes. Okay. Or well, there you go. But everyone hears me, right? Everyone moves if you can hear me. There you go. Yes, wonderful. Okay, I like it. All right, super. Okay, so thank you for this, Andrea. All right, so now, why is it a game? Because again, the collective consciousness has agreed that game is not important. So what happened when we experience something that the conscious mind perceives as not important, it waves away to take care of something else that needs to be important. And so what happens when the ego moves away, the soul becomes the space holder. And so it's a lot easier to connect with it because it has power, it has presence. So the game format is really to call back your inner child. It is not to give, it's not a therapy, because if you say, oh, we're going to go and do a therapy session, your ego mind just come up because your grown up comes up. You show up with your grown up coat. And this one comes up with starting with the filters, like, all right, that's it. What is she going to ask me? I'm going to be ready to throw things like all of the yes, but, and the what if, and the shoulda, and the woulda. And what we want is to not have to work through all of this nonsense. We don't need to actually go through all of these layers. What we want is to go bang right down to the bottom of it, to the heart of it. For that, you need to work from the place where everything is possible, where curiosity is just the king, where fearlessness is given to you. And that's the part of us that actually owns these qualities, is the child. And so when you say, well, let's go play again, then who shows up? The child, right? And so now you have the soul and the child playing together. So now you are creating the ultimate, absolute experience for true self-awareness, because you're able to look at yourself in a way you've never looked at it before. Okay? So now let's take a look at how we are playing the game and unfolding it in more like logistically speaking. So we all are going, we are, I think I saw 17 people are here. And so what we want to do is first start with a question to which we want to have an answer. So every single one of you, the first thing you're going to do is ask yourself a question and write it down. And the question, I'm inviting you to do it that way. You're going to ask a question that is either, what is important for me to know now? Or what is important for me to know now about something specific in your life? So, for example, I will be asking myself, what is important for me to know now? This is what I want to know. But if you feel that you want to ask something specific regarding a relationship, your finances, your job, your health, your family, your project, your life purpose, anything specific, you can add what is important for me to know now about this. All right, so take just a minute and write that question down for you. All right, so for me, what is important for me to know now? And if you have too many questions, because that's one that comes up sometimes, or if you are really unsure about which one to choose, just go to the default question that is, what is important for me to know now? Because at the end of the day, if you have the answer to that question, what else matters? Nothing else matters, because this is what you're telling yourself, and you're going to give yourself the answer to what matters most right now. So once you do this, then you will move through to what's next, right? But if you have something very specific that speaks to you, just concentrate and focus already with the intention to focus on that part of you. All right. So everyone has his and her questions right now. How does it work? We, the 17 of us, plus all of those who signed up online, which is, over 35 people signed up, and who will receive the recording, we have all agreed on the higher level, on our more, what I call the soul level. We agreed to show up and connect in this time and space at the right here, right now, which means that we are one right now. We are not nowhere else, and we are not in another time. We're here and now together. Therefore, we have agreed to explore a window into consciousness together. So what we need to all agree is, since I have the game here with me, I will be the one shuffling the cards for all of us, and I will be placing them down. We can also decide that some of you is like, oh no, I want to pick up a card, which is totally fine with me. You just have to wave and say, I want a card, because everything is divinely guided anyway. So whatever will happen is exactly what needs to happen. All right. So what do you feel? Do you want me to put it down, or is it something that you want to share, or what is it that you want to do? You let me know.
So I'm listening to this on audio and I'm not like visually watching.
Okay.
So how do I participate?
Well, you are participating. That's a good question. What's your first name?
Melissa Clark.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So Melissa, what you're going to do is same thing. You're going to ask yourself a question. That is not going to change. And what I'm going to, you have no video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the 8 name of those cards that are going to be put down, and right next to each of them, you will be writing the answer. And then you're going to see how you can unfold the reading as well. And if you, at the end, it's still confusing because you didn't have the video, you can also get back to the video recording that you will receive, or even connect directly with a Cosmic Compass facilitator, because every single one of you, if you are interested at the end, because you want to dive more into your own reading, you will be able to schedule Cosmic Compass facilitator session one-on-one for free. We have 2 facilitators who are going to offer their time for you to schedule if you need to. So you can always do this. But I'll help you, Melissa, with since you don't have the visual, okay?
Okay, great.
All right,
thanks.
awesome. You're welcome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the video to the game, the time I'm going to place all the cards around. And I will explain to you how the game unfolds. And then once every single card is going to be put down, I will go back to me, and then I will read them all to you. Okay, so here's the game. And we have, I said, 1, 2, and 3 card game. Okay, card deck. So as you can see, there's one card deck that's called Focus. There are 7 cards in this card deck. What I'm going to do is shuffle them, and I'm going to not tell you too much until I put the game down, so that your conscious mind does not stop running with the ball. Okay, it's just going to unfold as it goes. So there are 7 cards in this card deck, and I am feeling this one. So this is the one that I'm putting in. And again, I am playing for all of us. Since we are all agreed to come here and now, this is not only my game, this is going to be our game, okay? All right, we're gonna do the same. I'm gonna do the same thing with this card game. This is a deck that's called Wisdom, and I'm gonna pull 1 card out of it. And this card is going to be like a little quote of the day. It's a little wisdom to live by, maybe for the next few days, just to be a reminder. So I'm gonna feel this one. There you go. And then the last card deck is called the Cosmic Compass. These cards are going to be, there's going to be 6 of them, and these ones are going to go around the compass here, on each side, and there's going to be 6 of them. So I'm going to pull out first 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, and 6, this one. There you go. All right, so now what we want is to place this card right there. So I'm going to do this. Totally intuitively, there's no specific order or seemingly logic to it. Our cards are now placed on the game. So Melissa, we have 8 cards that are placed on the game. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so the game works as follows. We started with a question. Everyone has a question. That's the point of departure of our journey. Just like any journey, you start somewhere, you're going to end up somewhere. If you start from a question, we know that where you're going to end up is your answer, right? So the destination, there is the first card that we're going to pull out here, is the destination. That is the answer to your question. Whatever question you have, behind that card here is the answer to your question. It's called the card destination. The second card is called the path. The path is how you're going to get to your destination. So that is the most direct and joyful and the less costly, energetically costly path to get to your destination. So Melissa, there's going to be a first card that I'm going to pull out. It's called the focus card, and you can write that down if you want. The second card is going to be the destination card, and that's going to be the answer to your question. The path is the third card that we're gonna pull and turn over, and that is the most direct path to get to your destination, right? The fourth card that I'm going to turn around is called the challenge. That is what gets in the way of you going towards your destination. You see how it works? We're going somewhere. Mm-hmm. We have the path. As long as we walk the path, everything is fine. But there's something that we need to be aware that tends to hinder the path or our walk towards the destination. And that is bringing awareness onto what gets in the way. Okay? But because we are great journeyer, we have another card that's called the tool. The tool is the fifth card that I'm going to turn around, and it's called a tool, and that is going to help us overcome the challenge to get back on the path to get to our destination. Does it make sense so far? Okay.
Yep. Say that one more time.
Okay, so we got the tool. That is the fifth card that we are going to turn, and the tool is going to allow us to overcome the challenge that is slow, that can slow us down on our journey towards our destination. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, the sixth card that we're going to turn around is called the fuel. The fuel is what keeps us on going on our journey to our destination. Because we may know the answer to our question. We may know how to reveal it. We may be aware of the challenge and we know how to overcome it. But if we don't have any gas to keep us moving on our journey, we're going to get stuck. And very often, this is what's happening, is that we have clarity on what we want, our life purpose, what gets in the way, but we don't know how to give ourselves the energy needed to keep moving. So when we get stuck, most of the time, it's because the fuel is low. So the fuel is going to be showing us what we need to do, the action we need to take to keep us going on our journey to our answer. Okay? And then the last one is called the home. The seventh one is called the home. The home is the card that grounds us, that helps us. It's an action or a reminder of something we need to do to keep us grounded while we are revealing our answer, while we are going towards our destination. This is important. Why? Because no grounding, we tend to just be out of routing and feeling stable. We feel unstable. We're feeling just out of full like stability. And we need some stability when we keep moving forward, believe it or not. So it's almost like looking at it as a tree can grow its branches and, you know, flourish and blossom and have fruits and so on and so forth, only if the roots are really healthy. And that's the same thing for this. The home is looking at it as the roots of a tree that are needed to be very strong and very deep in order for us to safely and joyfully go towards our destination. Okay? So the last card, which is the 8th one, is called the wisdom. And that's what I was saying. That's the wisdom card. That's the little quote of the day. That's the fun. It may be a reminder of an angel guide that, you know, has a specific name with a specific energy that you can call if you meditate. Or it can be a smart quote from Einstein that, you know, is a reminder of how, you know, our journey needs to keep going. And so those are masters, I would say, or people who have inspired through extraordinariness through, you know, the past 2,000 years, and are reminders of how we need to keep inspiring ourselves with on a daily basis. Okay? All right. So again, if there's something that you feel is unclear, use the text box where we have moderator who can help you, you know, send some answer. I just want to make sure that I am staying connected to the game. So I will not necessarily read the text as it goes, but they will answer what they can. And if they cannot, they will let me know and then I'll jump in. Okay? So who's ready to get the answer to their question? Yes, me too. Woo-hoo. Okay, all right, let's get this party going. So the first card that we're going to turn around is called the focus card. The focus card is for those of you who are aware of the chakra system, and if you're a yoga instructor or if you already know a lot about energy healing, this is the focus. There are 7 cards, just like the 7 major chakra. So I've called them focus for those of us sometimes who are not in tune enough with the chakra system, who don't know the system. But here is what we're experiencing and exploring, my friends. We are exploring dreams, visualization, intuition, and psychic skills. So this is the 6th chakra. This is the 3rd eye. We are exploring together the consciousness of who we are through our 6th chakra, through our intuitive self, or, you know, it's all about visualization, it's all about dreams or psychic skills. So maybe there's a word out of these 4 that speaks to you most than another one. Okay, everyone is individual. Some of you may say, oh my gosh, yeah, it's all about intuition right now. My question was all about this. Or my mind went totally towards dreams because whatever, I had a dream yesterday. I don't know what is pertinent for your own journey, but I know that for me, it's definitely working. So I'm going to write it down. So 6th chakra, the focus is, you know, intuition, visualization, and so on and so forth. Okay, why is this card important? Because this becomes the filter to interpret the 6 other cards. And you're going to see how it's going to come to play while we're moving forward. All right, so we are going, you'll remember your question. What is important for me to know now, or about this, that? Fine. The answer to your question is going to be, oh, look at us. So you see the card here, the 6 cards that are on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have different colors, and then there's different sentences. The destination color pyramid on the board game is red. So we're going to read the red sentence only. Expect a surprise. So of course, right away, you're like, okay, my question is, what is important for me to know now?
Sorry to interrupt. The person who has a phone number starting 51.
Yeah, that's Melissa, yeah.
Melissa, if you can mute yourself while Aline is talking, that would be awesome.
You bet.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So the destination is expect a surprise. How do you put that with your question? Wherever your mind went from what is important for me to know now, and maybe you have a focus, specific focus, you need to know that you need to expect a surprise. It is not about knowing. To me, the way I look at it is with this filter, expecting a surprise is, it implies visualizing something fun, something joyful, something, whatever it is. I need to be able to connect with something in my visualization, in my future, because that's in my higher vibe. I need to be able to bring more clarity around what I want a surprise to be. Like, what would be the greatest surprise for me in my life right now? And that would be what I'm going towards. So I'm like, okay, I'm going toward a surprise, and that is what is important for me to know now. Why is it important in this way? Is that it's not known necessarily. I don't need to figure out the finality of it, but I know that it's going to feel like a surprise, and that is what is important. Okay, so now I need to expect a surprise. How do I do this? What is the mindset that I need to put myself in, or the action that I need to do in order to reveal this surprise? And that's the path. So as you can see, the path is the orange. So the orange is the second one, and it says, everyone can read this? All right. Make a smart choice now. Boo. All right. So that goes back to you now. It's like, okay, what are my choices right now? That is going to be, because what do I want to create tomorrow or after tomorrow or in the next 3 months or whatever? In order for me to create this, what is it that I need to do right here, right now, that is actually a smart choice? It's not a crazy choice. It's not a joyful choice. It's a smart choice. So what I would do if I were you is start writing, okay, what are my choices right now of what I want to create a surprise for me later? What would be the surprise that I want to offer to myself in, again, 3 months, 6 months? What is it that I need to give to myself? So write down. It may be your health. Again, it may be whatever the focus that you have had at some point at the beginning of your question. Whatever you're focused on, wherever your mind went, it is connected to you needed to make smart choice in the here and the now. And obviously reproducing this smart choice over and over again in order to create that surprise, that big, wow, that is Christmas for me. That would be me giving myself Christmas. Does it make sense? Again, you just keep writing it, and text if there's something that are unclear. Okay, so when I make a smart choice related to what it is that I want to give to myself in a few months or weeks or year, whatever works for you, all is well. When I align my choices to my visualization in the future, then all this is going to be working. What gets in the way is, that is a very mysterious one. So you see the yellow one, read between the lines. So what does it mean to you to read between the line? I know what it means to me, but it will not help you if I give it to you. But I know for me what it means. Read between the line. And that is where your intuitive skills are fine-tuned with this game, is that you need to start listening to what does it mean to me when I read this. I need to make a smart choice now, and then now, and then now. This smart choice, when I make it, is going to lead me to this surprise that I'm going to give to myself. So read between the line. To me, the way I interpret it, it may help you, is that I need to not be literal in the way I'm looking at what I want to attract to myself. And that actually, for me, is making so much sense, believe it or not, because I've been trying to figure out a way to do something, but I realized that I need not to look at it in that angle of finding the ABC, but more in finding a way that has either never been done before, or a way that is what's between the A and the B, instead of looking at the A and the B. And so it just helps me. That's what gets in the way. It's like I'm looking too much into, like, in the line, right? I need to just go beyond it. All right, so let's keep moving. When we read, what's hindering you is that we don't know how to read between the lines, or it may actually be the opposite for some of you. Is that you're reading too much between the line and you're not reading enough what needs to be written. That can be a way for you to look at it. It depends how you take it, okay? But nonetheless, here is the tool that you need to know. That's the green one. So you grow stronger and stronger in this ability, in this sixth chakra. You need to know that you grow stronger and stronger in this. So the way I would help you with this is to tell you, it's to remind you that because it's all about dream visualization, intuition, and psychic skills, this reading is you reconnecting to this part of you. And whatever you are ready to do, whenever you're ready to do so, it's going to help you create what it is that you want to surprise yourself with. It's not, you're not going to make it because it's going to make sense logically. It is because you're allowing your intuitive self to actually bring it up. So it's almost like whatever we are called to create or to manifest, don't think logically. Go with your heart. Go with what feels right and what connects you with the next version of you. Again, not in a logical way, but more like in a holistic way. So maybe it is body, mind, spirit. It's not just creating something that makes sense in one layer of you, but more all of you, your entire being, right? Maybe it is, and again, feel free to share some. Someone just sent something. Ewald said some. Did you see what Ewald say in Kabbalah? To read means to encounter the author. So what are you writing down? So encounter that between the line. I'm not sure I understand, Ewald, what that means, to encounter. Can you unmute yourself and explain a little bit what that is? I don't know if you hear me, Ewald.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Can you explain a little bit more about this?
Yes, when you read a book, you don't only read it for yourself. You also should find out what was it that the author tried to convey. What was the author trying to tell you? And that is not always the words. It's actually what it means also intuitively. So you don't encounter just the words and try to understand them. You also try to feel into them. So when you read between the lines, or when you read your own stuff, you basically find out what do you need to do. So you go beyond the words, like you just said. Don't use the intellect, use the feelings and what else comes to you. Okay, thank you very much for this. Yeah. Okay, so it adds another part of it that is, to the way I feel it in this reading, is that what we are called to do is to look at the substance of whatever you want to create, more than the shape or the format. I was actually talking to someone about it today. We tend to, when we look at the future, at our next self, we tend to look at it as, I want to create myself in,
let's say I want to create $1 million. So we look at the picture of what $1 million can do, and maybe it's a suitcase with written $1 million on it, or maybe it is a package filled up with bills or notes or whatever. The way I understand this, the way you shared it, Ewald, it's more about stop thinking with visual, but more close your eyes and feel what it feels to be connected to $1 million wealth, like the substance, the energetic substance that it feels like, so that you are using the law of attraction to pull it towards you instead of hooking it into a limited format that it may not come that way. It may be still $1 million feeling of wealth, but it may not be looking like the visual that you put out there. So whatever you feel you want to offer to yourself as a surprise, what does it feel like? And that action that we need to take is connected to this feeling. It's like, oh, I need to feel this way every day in order for me to actually bring it closer to me. Does it make more sense? And then read between the lines is that very often we don't read between the lines because we're looking at the container and not the substance in the container, right? And then you grow stronger and stronger, of course, because your magnetic power is actually evolving because you are connecting to the energy of that which you want to create. And so as a magnet, the bigger you are, the easier it is to attract to you that which you want to bring to yourself, right? So it's more about creating it's almost like bottling up what it is that you want to attract to yourself. So I would write a little note of what is it that I want my life to be in or to feel like in 2 months, 10 months, whatever, the timeline that for you comes to your mind right away. And then be in the action of living this, connecting to that substance on a daily basis. All right? When we do that, all right, perfect. We are moving towards getting this surprise. We need to expect this. The fuel is this. So that's the blue one. Read an inspirational book. So again, what's interesting to me, it's if it was the first chakra that we had picked up, it would be an actual book. But because we picked this card and that becomes the filter, this is not an inspirational book written by anyone else outside. It is your own inspirational self. Like it's you feeling inspired with your greatness, with your greater version of yourself. It's what's next for you. What is inspiring you, but not, again, it's not reading somebody else's book. It is more about connecting to that which inspires you within yourself, like the greater version of yourself. So when you're connecting to your inner genius, your inner, like your soul, what becomes possible? It's no longer you tell the story of your life, but you're connecting to the legend of your life. And then from there, you can just remember like, oh my gosh, I'm awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm a genius. Oh my gosh, I'm unique in this. All of this allows you to keep moving your journey to go and bring this surprise closer to you and reveal it, okay? All right. What grounds us in the journey? Oh, that's a good reminder. Look at the bottom one. You are your best friend. What does it matter for this specific game? Because it all starts from there. There's absolutely no way we can go and create and manifest the life that is ours, the next version of us, unless we know that we deserve it. And so for that, we have to have this connection between our soul, higher self, and our lower self that is so like literally best friend, so that we have this support, internal support. It's not outside validation that will bring that surprise to us. It is not outside support. It's not going to be like when we create codependency with an outside source to remind us that we're awesome, the danger is that we don't know it ourselves. So if we are not vibrating high enough in our self-love, then we are not vibrating enough in our self-sovereignty, in our self-authority, and then in our self-mastery. And in order to attract, to be the magnet using the law of attraction, attracting the life that we truly know we deserve, we have to be systematically evolving within that spiral of self-love, self-sovereignty, self-authority, and self-mastery. And the greater we move this spiral, the bigger or the greater our magnetism is, and the easier it is to pull that in. But it starts with us knowing that we are our best friend. And that's the reason why that's the home on this game. Okay? So if life is, gets hard, or you're just being overwhelmed, or you're too challenged with, what I call the mundane, the ordinary, or the container, you have to remind yourself, okay, I need to go back home. And go back home is, all right, I need to remind myself that I am my best friend. And what would my best friend tell me, suggest me, support me into? Like, what would she tell me? What would he tell me? And then from that place, we can go and read an inspirational book, which is rereading who we are, reconnecting to the legend of who we are. And from that place, we have enough energy to keep moving towards creating our greatest life, which is the biggest surprise. Does it make sense for everyone? Yes? Thank you, Zara. Oh, okay. So there you go. So we have the words of wisdom is a little, it's an angel card. And so we have an angel in our field, in our life, that we can call when we meditate, that reminds us of this very energy. And so it's almost like you just have to call upon it. We have to call upon it. And then it reminds us that these energies, we have access to it. And these are going to help moving our journey forward. Does that make sense? Everyone took notes? So I will bring you the strength to heal through grace, love, and joy. And it's Angel Mirabiel. So grace, which is interesting, Will, because we have a thing with Will. Will and Grace. He was calling me Grace, and then he's Will. So we were our tandem, Will and Grace. And so here we go. We got grace, love, and joy are actually the three energy in this reading that in this journey, that we are called to reconnect with more consciously in order to move our journey towards expecting our greatest surprise. And as you can see, grace, love, and joy are not logical. They're not in the line just, it's not the container of what is it going to look like. It's more about mixing the energies of grace, love, and joy, and bottle that up, drink that every day, and the likelihood is you're going to attract to you with that which you want to create, like the life that you want to manifest. It's going to help you pull that towards you. Okay? Is that making sense for some of your question? Yes? Who wants to share? Will, do you want to share? It was your first time. We had a virgin. This is amazing. I love it. So, Will, do you want to share your journey with us?
Well, yeah, I haven't put it all together yet because I've been just absorbing all of what you're saying. But a lot of it is almost to my question, because really my question was, what's important for me? What's my next step in the evolution of finding my higher purpose?
Okay.
Will it involve a change of location? If so, when? So there's little details, but
sure. Okay.
So that was the big question. What's the next step?
Okay. Selfishly, I'm going to say yes. You're going to move to Austin. Yes.
Okay.
He's coming to visit Austin at the end of April, so it's already written, right? Of course. And so
Well, that's a lot of what was clicking as I went through this, the cards.
Yes.
Because that is fresh, and that's what's next. It literally.
Indeed.
So
when you put this journey of you, like the next part of you, which is obviously, yes, very engaged with this, and you connect with your heart, can you feel can you bottle up the feeling that you want your life to be? You may not be able to say, okay, it's going to be Austin, or it's going to be Santa Fe, or it's going to be Miami, but can you put together the feeling of, I don't care where it's going to be, but what I want it to be is to feel that way. I want it to feel that I have, I don't know, spaciousness and joy and, like water around, or mountains, like this feeling that you can actually connect with, and again, through your heart, so that you are creating the substance, and that substance will take shape when you walk it, because you take the action that are going to be brought to you, that will be the smart choices for you to walk towards this journey. Do you feel that it is possible for you to become sensitive to the energy of what's next, instead of knowing what it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I think based on, I'm sure I can, as far as like intuiting and feeling and tuning into that, I certainly know I can do that. But to tell you the truth, I really, until we started doing this game, I hadn't really thought about exactly even asking the question that I've asked. You know what I'm saying? That it's, so, I can tell you already that just in preparing to come to Austin, I've had so many positive responses from people, like, oh, that's the best of my favorite city, and I'm finding out it's a very healthy city. I'm finding out all kinds of great things. So it's certainly, all in that in itself, just coming there, all that feeling is already there in a real way, in terms of my anticipation.
Nice. Okay.
So there's nothing negative about it. So, and being that it's a vacation, it's sort of like that opens me up to all that anyway, because I'm able to be more feeling in the moment,
right,
than being, responding to a schedule or to things that are already like must do in my life. So, it's really like feeling it's going to be a fun adventure for sure.
All right. Okay.
So,
all right. Awesome. All right. Yeah. So for you, you're connecting it more with this trip. Like this is something that you're connecting as close as this trip.
Certainly, yeah. Well, the other part of it is that I've been fascinated since I first met you and tuned into what you were doing with this. Fascinated and curious. So this is very, it's like, it's answering questions for me that I've had for years, really. In terms of just the game of how it works.
Yes. Yes.
So it's. In some ways it's very profound, and in other ways it's extremely simple. But I really like the way it works.
Very well, thank you.
So I could see that being, more part of my future, just in that sense. This game will be
fantastic.
The reality that I have to go forward with.
Yeah, and since you're going to be in Austin, you can come to the house to play it.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, we have other people in Austin who have like soirees and organize. Lisa has soirees regularly at our house.
Lisa, she just brought up a great point for Will. Maybe she wants to share it.
Who?
She wrote it, Lisa, in the chat box.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Will, just in listening to you, you were talking about how it was going to feel coming to Austin, and that you're like, it's going to feel great because it'll feel like vacation, not like all those things that I have to do all the time in my regular life. So what I said is, maybe you want to vision and visualize for yourself a life purpose that feels like vacation. I mean, it doesn't have to be either or, it can be both and. I mean, I'm sure that Aline's life purpose and work is, I mean, I know her really well, so it's like a lot of fun. And you can envision a life like that for yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Yeah.
Great. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Who else wants to share what their experience was, and with their question? We have Valentina, who says she wants to host, and I know she sent it to me privately, but I'm going to give it to the world. Yes, Valentina, let's do it everywhere. We're in. We'll talk about it. Definitely. Okay. Who else wants to share their questions? Maybe their their journey, or maybe something that is unclear that wants some clarity around it.
I feel like everybody's shocked because everybody got their answers. So people like still processing it.
Yeah, and sometimes we need to, that's where when we play it in a group, and even when we're around the table, this is what it does when we start sharing our discovery, or there's no coincidence that all of us are here. So there's a little piece of the puzzle sometimes that is where we perceive a missing link, and someone else, just like Lisa just did with Will, it's like, oh, from where I look at it, maybe that's what it means. Boom. Oh yes, I like this. And so we add on. That's how we actually really create a collaboration and a support, with this. So anyone who feels like, okay, it's not fine-tuned, I need a little help with that card, or how my games or compared to my questions, and feel free. That's the beauty of this space. It's safe, and it's ready for this.
So I got something.
Go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So you really surprised me on the book card, the inspirational book. You really surprised me on that one. I'm always having a little bit of trouble with the filtering through the chakras and the interpretation. So that one was a surprise to me, like, oh, what? I'm the book? Wait.
Oh, hell yeah. You are the book.
Yeah, so now, okay, now it's still in my head, and I'm like, oh, okay, so if I need to look into what would be the surprise, like, and then like, is it looking into how are you inspirational? Like,
yes,
like,
exactly. Is that when you look at,
because I've never looked myself at in that way. I always see other people.
Of course. And so it probably is, part of this is time for you to take to redirect your energy from the outside in, and whatever you like. And because you said, I can see other people being inspirational. So that means that your awareness has already does have a baseline to recognize what inspirational feels to you. So therefore, and you did that to train yourself on others, so that you can now redirect it towards you. Look inside, and it's like, oh, I need to meet my own inspirational me. Because imagine, instead of depending on other people's words or saying or life, suddenly you're looking at yourself and you start to reconnect with how you inspire yourself every day, every moment of the day, where suddenly you're becoming, like, oh, you don't need to be, with someone you feel is inspirational. You can be with your own self, inspiring you over and over and over again. How do we become great? It's because we inspire ourselves. That's what we tend to do with other people. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by you. I'm just going to do my journey. And yes, you're inspired for 2 days, and then this person is no longer in your life, and then, I wish I would be inspired. Well, the beauty of it is now, if you look inside and you can find that inspiration, you can plug into it, then you can keep on going in that journey. So that's where the work would be. For me, it's like, okay, what do I need to, I need to start to make a list of me. How do I see myself being an inspiration? And if you don't know, ask those around you who actually know you, who can see it, so that it can give you a little, help, like, oh, I have a list of 10 or 12 for you just right there. So, you just ask. But it's more about owning that self-inspiring, like you, instead of giving it systematically to others. Because this journey is a journey of greatness. This cosmic compass, like all of us here, we have said yes to greatness, and that is what that game is all about. And in order to actually go bring it to reality closer to us, we have to, hi everyone, we got some new one coming up, yes. And in order to bring it to us, we have to realize that the journey cannot be lived outside. It is an inner journey first, before, and then it's going to be revealed from the outside. That's the reason why we had the sixth chakra. It's not a journey that can be lived from the first chakra routine. Like, it's not the action necessarily we take first. It is what we are capable of envisioning about us, and how we can keep inspiring that higher greatness and pull it toward us. Well, it needs to be pulled from inside. And that's that inspiring self that can pull it. It cannot be the, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. The not good enough could never pull that lace, with the greatness ball right there. It has to be the greatness part of us that pulls it in. That makes sense?
An equal force.
That's it. Ooh, I like this. Oh, there's a song about this.
Oh, it's coming.
Z is an inspiring singer, songwriter, composer, genius musical girl. And I invite you to look online and look for her and listen to her, because she's going to just shake your soul, definitely. Yes.
Oh, the planet's going to shake. So
it's the point. It's the whole point.
Beyond the universe. I'm going cosmical.
That's it. Let's go cosmic. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for this. Yes.
Thank you.
Valentina who raised her hand.
Yes.
And then it seems that there is a question from Rocket. Also.
Okay. So, Tina, tell me, what's Valentina? Oh, I think she had her arm up since the beginning.
Okay.
She's so sweet. I accidentally raised my hand. All right.
The previous question.
Okay, so Kirsten, the part I'm still trying to get my head around is expect a surprise and then make a smart choice. Seem counterintuitive. Oh, I love it already. Okay, so are you unmuted or not? Yes.
No, I am.
Okay. All right. So where is when you project yourself and you say expect a surprise, what is it that comes up first?
Well, mine was about work, which, as you know, has been very clear. Mm-hmm. But the last 3 months, even with all that clarity and everything progressing, I have felt like I'm being invited to completely reconsider everything.
Oh,
it's been like, are you kidding me? Right? Okay. And so, and I thought I'd kind of worked through that, but something just happened today that is like, maybe not. And so expect a surprise, just put a big smile on my face, right?
Yes.
And then when make a smart choice came up, so the other thing that's happened is my old life has come back once again, trying to get me to do a project from the old world that would bring in some cash right now that would, help fund this stuff. So in the worlds that we as a world have created, that's the smart choice, right? Like,
oh, I see.
The money, do that.
Okay.
And so for me, I was a little perplexed by that, because it's like, but the surprise isn't like, that doesn't work for me.
The surprise doesn't work for you?
No.
Oh.
But, well, I mean, not smart from that perspective, but Lisa wrote privately and we talked about it a little bit, and I love what she said to me. Lisa, do you want to, I think it's already gone past me here.
I didn't see it yet. I didn't read it.
I
I see it as trusting your intuition for a smart choice to make now. The choice that brings more joy, love and joy, even without knowing why.
Okay, so that is a complete explanation. It can be also that your mind has limited itself, believing that smart is only intellectual and connected to the 3D. For me, a smart choice is trusting my soul. It's following my soul. It's not smart to me to follow the 3D. It's not smart because if it was smart, it would have worked already.
Yeah.
So the smart choice, is, well, I'm going to trust my intuition. That's the smart choice. When you do this, and especially with intuition and psychic skills, and it is definitely, the smart choice is not connected to the logical mind that would have been more of the first chakra, the lower chakras. It would have been, like the higher one. So it is, like Lisa was saying, like the trust yourself, and that is the smart choice. Like you will know what the smart choice is because you're trusting your intuition, not necessarily because it is connecting to making money is a smart choice. Sometimes it is and sometimes it's not, right?
Yep.
That makes sense?
A quick tip.
Yeah.
There's a quick tip I learned recently. Says the small self thinks, the divine self knows. So you'll know.
There you go. That was yeah. So and for you it may be, you see, like that's the when you were saying like the surprise, is it something like you put a smile on your face? That is something that right there is like, oh, then that's the pool, right? Because if there's a smile, there's natural joy to it, there's lightness to it, so it comes from not density, it doesn't come from burden, because if not, it would not. Okay, so when you pull this towards you and that feeling, this is what will show you what choice to make that aligns to make that happen, and that would be why it's the smart choice. That makes sense. Do you feel that you are like, what would your best friend tell you, since that's the home?
There's so much that's still to just keep going. And I mean, part of it, the surprise in this means not throwing out by any means, but letting go of 6 hard years of work and letting that become whatever that's supposed to become, the training ground for whatever this next thing is, right as it's about to take off. So it's this like, what? You want me to do what? But yes, I mean, I totally, as you know, I mean, trust in that. For sure.
And that makes you smile, thinking, I mean, of course the letting go may not make your conscious mind smile, because like, what? Because it perceives it as it was a hardship, long, like a lot of investment, but the soul does not perceive that as an experience. And then if you're done with the experience, there's no reason to carry that experience further along, because it's unnecessary, because there's the next it's almost like whatever you needed to learn about yourself through it has been done. It's not about the project, it's about who you have become through it. And if this is ready to be birthed enough into something else, then that is what you need to take on, more than taking the project, because we are always the project. The thing that we do, they're fake project, we are the project, right? And so it's almost like when it's like, am I done with learning all of what I'm learning? And if the past, like you were saying, the past comes, is it because, and you may want to identify this, is it because you're holding on to it and that's why it comes back? That's the only reason why it would come back. Or it's because there's really still something and that is needed to be infused in what's next. It's one or the other.
And that's what I thought last year when this happened, and there were a lot of brilliant, wonderful lessons in that. But I also learned I should have trusted my gut not to go there. So I feel like I'm being tested one more time. Like, okay, what is it? Where are you really, really going to go?
Yeah.
And did you learn your lesson last year?
Ah. Ooh. Okay. All right. So, but thank you for bringing this idea, like this clarity around, expected surprise and the SMART choice, because very often the collective agreement is that SMART is connected to intellectual, and expecting a surprise is totally, in the realm of intuitive and just more receptive. So, but the way I perceive it is that the SMART choice is more. And there's another thing that just can come through, because you're doing a lot of corporate work too. There's an acronym of SMART.
Yes, there is. What is it?
Well, I don't know, but I know that there is. I know that there is. Like SMART is something, M is something else, A is something else, and it's really corporate. So I would look into it for you.
Okay.
Because maybe that's the kind of choice you need to make with these 5 components. Right?
Maybe
not, but it just jumped right now and not before. So as we were talking, so I trust what jumps, right?
I do too.
Awesome.
With you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else has a question or just wants more clarity? I see that our team. Okay. Oh, look at you. You guys are working. Okay. All right. So what I invite everyone to do is, obviously, as I was saying at the beginning, there's going to be a recording of this that will be shared to all of you. Feel free to go back to it and
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, yes.
Erica just texted that she has a question.
Yes. Go ahead, Erica. I don't know if you're unmute or unmute or. Oh, thank you, Lisa. SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based goal. Well, dang, that's good.
I think I'm muted now.
Oh, there you go, Lisa. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Erica is here. Woohoo!
Hi.
How are you?
I was having technical issues.
That's it. We're hearing you now. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. How is the beautiful LA?
It's beautiful. It's actually shockingly, it's been not beautiful for a little while, so it's a nice change back to the norm.
All right, very well. Well, you cannot always have the.
I just had a question.
Yes.
I just obviously I've done the game before, and it's always very insightful, and it's just funny how it always applies to everyone, especially in doing it with a group. It's so interesting because we all obviously wanted to know different things.
Right.
So thank you. My question was, there's something for me I've noticed that it seems like I just asked a general question of, what's in my highest good for me to know right now. Mm-hmm. And then through the different answers that we picked up, I was just kind of reflecting on, it seems like things that I haven't wanted, if they come into my existence, it seems like they work out. And it's like, for example, there's a company that I've had 3 meetings with, and I'm fairly sure they're going to make me an offer to work with them. And I don't, it's not that I dislike them or anything's wrong. It's just, I'm not passionate about it. And it's so funny because it seems like the less I have invested in something, the outcome of something, it seems like it always works out. Like they'll most likely offer me a job. So that happened yesterday. And then when you did the questions and it was saying like, oh, maybe there's a surprise. Well, I was having technical issues on my phone. And so I had to re-log in to, get the rest of what you were saying.
Okay.
And when I did that, my whole screen on my phone went kind of cuckoo. And then an email popped up from a company that, as you know, because your friend, works there, I've been talking to since October. And all of a sudden, there's all these things that have changed. And the person that I was talking to is no longer in charge of that position. And so now I'm talking to this other person. And it just seemed like, as soon as you said surprise, that happened. And then right when I was trying to log back on and make it so that I was muted, and so I wasn't, because my dog was running around, and right when I was trying to do that, this thing popped up that was an old text message from a friend of mine who had kind of warned me that this thing I thought I wanted at this company maybe wasn't really going to be good for me based on just the culture and things that she personally knows. So I guess I'm kind of like, I'm not confused, but I'm more curious how you are seeing that sort of information popping up like that at that moment on both sides, right?
Right. And for me, it's a learning of discernment. Is that instead of giving, like what you're seeing is that things are popping up, and then to me, I look at it as it's happening because that's what your mind does. It goes and it goes and it goes. And instead, it is asking you to actually reconnect with you inside, and instead of jumping, either because there is a survival instinct right now that is asking you to just go out there to find something. It is about returning and redirecting the energy back inside so that you can control, I would say, energetically what comes to you very clearly, instead of being distracted by this and adding to the confusion of, oh, well, maybe that's that, maybe that's this, maybe that's that. There is like everything that is happening in our awareness, we are creating it out of the energy that is happening within us, right? So these popping up are coming up because this is what you're doing with yourself. You're not necessarily saying, this is what I want, and until I get this, I'm not defaulting for something else. This is what I know I am. This is what I know I deserve. This is what I know I want. And I am going to bring it into my reality with that, like, it's almost like with no doubt. But, right. So it's almost like those popping up, they're more getting in the way because you're getting in your own way with your intentions. Is that you want something, but then there's a thought, a sidetrack thoughts, because there's an option, a possibility here, which again, we are always open to, always given every possibilities. It's really our work to say yes to this or no to this. But when we say yes, or maybe not, maybe yes to well, no, not like this, and maybe yes, and then that's what's happening. We bring them, we push, it pull, it push, it pull. And so I feel like for you, it's especially with this game, it really is recalling what you know you want, so that you're attracting it effortlessly. And when you have this pop-up, you're recognizing that they are distraction more than actually part of you, because whatever you want to pull to you is going to be very solid, because that's what you know. This is the big surprise I want. I don't want a surprise as popping up and then leaving. It's just it's going to be solid. If it doesn't feel like this, and that's why the idea of connecting with the substance, the energy of what it is that you want to create, because it's not the format of, like your mind is going to, oh, it can be that company, or it can be that company, and that is already you choosing a format, a container, instead of it needs to feel this way. It's almost like you're going to attract to you first the energy, and then this energy that is really proper to what you want for yourself is going to take shape into a person or into a company, because it's going to take shape around the energy that you are calling for yourself, that you're focusing on.
Got it.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Can I share something? So I just noticed that when you were saying that, the one text that I got that came at 7:15, so I think that's around maybe a little early, but was this thing that showed up today. It was the partner who I shared it with response to it at that same, like right around that same time as well.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of strange.
Interesting. All right.
That's funny. When she was sharing earlier about having an opportunity to do something that was for money, and then maybe having passed on it before and maybe handling it a different way this time, I was kind of thinking, oh, that feels very similar to me going, oh, this company that like maybe it doesn't like look the way that I had hoped. but maybe because of the money opportunity and how kind the people are, you know, maybe it's maybe I shouldn't say no if that pans out, because
I didn't pass. I did it. I thought we had agreed for me to do the work that they wanted me to do from the place I was working in at that point. They didn't really want me to, which I knew. That's what I intuitively knew. They wanted me to do it from the old place. And it was 9 months of pure disaster.
Wow.
Wow.
So that, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is, I didn't skip it and wish I had. I wish I had trusted my intuition from the beginning and turned it down.
Not done it. Yeah.
Interesting that you girls are present and have this.
Yeah, it sent everything back. So all this work that I already had got put to the side, my path.
Of course.
To basically deal with 9 months of not getting anything done because of it was not a smart choice.
Mm-hmm.
So if those things aren't aligning for you, I would highly, highly, highly trust your gut on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. You may hear my son just going crazy on the back. That's sorry about this. Fighting with a dog. Okay, so anyone else who wants to share their experience or has question about their own game or needs some clarity? Stephanie, does it make sense? Did it make sense to you?
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, so I could use a little bit of clarity. That would be wonderful.
But of course.
Okay, so what I wrote was, what is important for me to know now about the direction of my future.
Okay.
So when you put down, okay, so what do I need to focus on right now? What is the smart choice? I wrote down, focus on positivity, continue to let go, and I wrote, choose what direction I want to go in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So you see, that's the thing, is that I feel like this is one of a little bit like the girls we talked before, is that we actually have a say in what it is that we want, what's in the future. But what we need to do is to be very clear about what it feels like, not what it looks like.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? And so when you make that choice, you ultimately are already hooking into one potential in the universe, and you're telling, that's mine. And then this is, again, you may not know you may not know the format of that future, but you know what it's going to feel like. So when it's going to come to you, you're going to be able to recognize it with your intuitive self.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
It's almost like when I cook and I'm cooking something that the kids have already ate before, and they don't see it, but like, oh, it smells like cheese souffle. They know they have not seen it, but they know that that's what it is. And that's the same thing. We have to just like, oh my gosh, it feels like this, it smells like this, it tastes like this, I'm going to feel this way, I'm going to be, and that is what you're actually, when it comes like, but of course it's cheese souffle, it's just, I knew it, and you don't need to see it. But that's more of, it's you already making the choice of clarity about what it needs to feel. You already know what you want to feel in your life. You want to feel maybe joyful and light, and then financially stable, and then maybe traveling and whatever that you like. All of this has a frequency, has an energy to it, and you can bottle that up. And every day it's almost like I'm taking a moment and I am in that vision, and this is my life. And until this life comes to you as a reality, you need to just bring it to you by reconnecting with that feeling, reconnected with that energy. And that is using the universal laws of attraction.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay. So do we have any more questions? Aline makes a mean cheese souffle. Dang, you're right. Yes, we're going to have a big first like this group is all going to come to the house one day, and I'm going to make a huge souffle for everyone. Okay, so all right, it's been about an hour and a half we started, which is pretty cool that we we were able to all go through it. Obviously, there's if there's some clarity that is still needed, I invite you to go back and listen to the video again and watch it again, because there's maybe a lot of things that just escaped in the moment. And then if really there's you feel that you need to dive deeper into it, then feel free to connect with me. But there's also two awesome, and even Lisa can probably jump into it. I know that she has a retreat this weekend, so she may be busy. But Stas, who you can see in the bottom, move Stas so that people can see you. Yeah, Stas here, and Andrea right next to him are both facilitators. They're facilitating the game every day. Miami is being, and Fort Lauderdale and Boca Raton is being swimming in cosmic vibe right now. They cannot get away from it, and so they are awesome doing it. So if you feel like your game is or your session is a little sometimes or could use a little fine-tuning, connect with them. They have put their, I think, their email address that you can reach them directly to, so that you can schedule a time with them, and they are going to give you all the clarity you need. And also for every single one of you, and it's only valid for this group until midnight tonight. So if you are interested in buying the game today, there is a link to go on the Cosmic Compass box to get it through Amazon or even on my website. When you get one, when you pay for one, you get a second one for free today. So if you are interested to get it, you want to gift it to someone else, that's definitely the day to do it. And so what else do we want to say? If you are interested in becoming a facilitator for the game, there is a 20-hour Cosmic Compass facilitator that you can do. It is online because it is video. So everything is being recorded, and you're going to receive a video a week with some work to do in between. You're going to receive the game as well. And there is a link where you can click on and get into it right here tonight. Also, there's a discounted price if you want to sign up for it today. And then what else? There is, I have one more spot available for Italy. If someone wants to fly to Italy with us, and Lisa is coming, and Andrea is coming, and Valentina is coming. And so there's a few of us who are going to go explore the divine feminine, which is all about the intuitive, which is interesting with this reading. And it's all about the receptive and the nurturing aspect of who we are. We're going to experience it on the east coast of Italy in a villa that is just heaven on earth. I just found heaven on earth. So if you are interested in this, same thing, you can click on the link that is on the text on the side, and then it's going to give you all of the information over there. And did I say everything? Yes. Thank you, guys. I have my little team behind that just helping me with all of the logistics. And then if you have any questions or feedback, please send back to me. This was the first one, so obviously there's work to fine tune. There's ways to. Oh, Beate is back here, and so I'm more than welcoming any kind of suggestions, comments, things that worked for you, things that didn't work, how you would do it differently that would help me, everyone, and so also there is a Facebook page that I run where I call that the 5D. If you are interested to be part of it, it's a private group. Please send me an email with putting your Facebook name, and then I will add you to the group. And it's a group that talks about higher level of consciousness, 5D work, goodness. Don't watch the news anymore. Just look at what's on it, and it's all about the heart and how we can support each other towards ascension and elevating consciousness. And voila, I have to thank you so much for giving me your time, your space, your listening, your mind, heart, and soul. And hopefully you're finding some guidance, and then, you know, reconnecting with people you who are part of the tribe. And if you need anything, please reach out to me on the email that we just shared in the message box. All right. And then by tomorrow, you will receive the recording of this session. And please feel free also to share it. It's not a private thing. It's just, unless you know, it's up to you. But it is something to share to share the idea of the game and share the words, and for all of us to turn cosmic. All right. So I hug every single one of you and all of you in the energy. I thank you again so much for your time, your presence, your heart, and then we'll see you. Oh, that's it. The next one is going to be on June 21st, which is going to be a Friday, and that's going to be the same format. And so, and this time I'm going to set up a focus. It's going to be either the focus of relationship, or there's going to be a focus that I'm going to give to that one in June. So, but that's going to be a surprise. You're going to just receive it in your email, and then if it speaks to you, then you're joining, and then we'll discover that and explore that space together. All right. Okay. Have a great time, great evening wherever you are, and then we'll see you on June 21st or before, of course, if we can. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.